college advisor at Rio Mesa High School. So DCAC stands for the Destination College Advising Corps. I work alongside Ms. Correa. They're at the College and Career Center, so maybe I've met some of y'all. Some of these names look familiar, so I'm happy that y'all are all here to get this all the great information. So let us know if you have any questions or anything.
Yeah, awesome. So my name is Mr. Tirado. I'm the college site coordinator for Pacifica High School. For those of you that don't know me, and I am excited for us to get started on the UC application. We kind of separated it out into nice bite-sized pieces. So today we'll get started with section 1, part 1, covering an overview and the About You section. And what else? There's one more, right?
Campuses and major.
Campuses and major, right. So welcome, guys. I'm glad to see so many of us here. And yeah, let's get started, Ms. Correa. Should we start the video?
Okay, hopefully my internet is not.
Just right within. You create in.
So we're gonna start off with an overview of the application
webinar series hosted by UC Santa Barbara. This workshop will detail how to access your UC application and how to navigate the application successfully. The UC application is the only application that the University of California will accept for its 9 undergraduate campuses. It is only available online via desktop or mobile view. After the application is submitted, copies are sent to each UC campus that the student has selected. Every campus that a student has applied to will receive the same copy of your application, but every campus will review the application individually. Each UC campus places a different value on each section of the application, academic and non-academic. Campuses do not collaborate on admissions decisions. The general admissions process does not allow for conducting interviews nor reviewing external materials such as resumes or letters of interest. Further, the University of California does not accept letters of recommendation, portfolios, or hold auditions unless they are specially requested from an applicant or required from a program. For example, UC Santa Barbara's dance and music majors require an audition. When reviewing your application, the UC campuses use almost everything. We don't ask a question we don't want the answer to, so fill out your application thoroughly and honestly. We need to understand your context and the world you come from, so give as many details as possible. Remember, non-academics are important as well as your academic achievements. The University of California will ask for but cannot admit students based on race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, religion, legacy, and the entire scholarship section of the application. Communication with all applicants will occur primarily through email. Students will need to make sure that the email account they use for their application is an email account they will check regularly even after the application deadline. If a campus contacts an applicant, please reply to those requests in a timely manner. To access the UC application, students can visit the UC website and click Apply Now, starting August 1st. If you want any additional assistance or information about the application, we have created documentation that is available on the UC webpage. Feel free to download those before you begin working on the application for additional tips and advice. After you have created your account, you will be asked to select the term you are applying for, when you hope to start at UC, and your applicant level, freshman or transfer. You're a freshman applicant if you're currently in high school or have graduated from high school, but have never enrolled in a regular session, fall, winter, or spring at a college or university. If you completed college courses during high school through summer after graduation, you are still considered a freshman applicant. You are a transfer applicant if you've completed high school and have earned college units or are enrolled in a regular session, fall, winter, or spring at a college or university. Transfer applicants will also need to select what type of transfer applicant they are based on the number of units they plan to complete before enrolling at UC. Most UCs are primarily looking for junior level transfers. Very few campuses are open for admission at the sophomore or senior level. At the top of the screen, students will see a menu bar with the following sections. Application status, which will show all open or submitted applications for the applicant. After submitting the UC application, applicants can access and edit certain information from this page, like adding or removing campuses until the application deadline. My Account is where applicants can view and or edit their email address and password associated with their account. Sign out and Help. Help shows answers to frequently asked questions pertaining to the section of the application that you are working on. Clicking on Help will also display the contact information for the UC Application Center. Along the right side of the screen, students will see the sections and tabs of the UC application. There are 7 sections total. We encourage applicants to work through the application in sequential order. Details shared in earlier sections will determine questions further along in the application. For example, entering your family income in the About You section will then determine if you qualify for a fee waiver in the following section, campuses and majors. When an applicant completes a section, they will see a blue button which reads Save and Continue. Clicking this button will restart your UC application timer. For students working on their application and who may step away from their computer, they will automatically be logged out of the application after 20 minutes of inactivity. This is for your application's safety and security. All applicants can start working on their UC application on August 1st, but no student can submit their application until November 1st. In order to apply, students must submit their application within the 30-day submission window between November 1st and November 30th. Please note that all dates and deadlines are based on California time zones, also known as Pacific Time. Since there is no early decision or early action for admission, it does not matter when during the month of November an application is submitted as long as it meets the deadline. Please note that completing an exam is optional. UC will not consider SAT or ACT test scores when making admissions decisions or awarding scholarships for fall 2022 through 2024 applicants. If a student chooses to submit test scores as part of their application, they may be used to fulfill the English subject matter requirement or for course placement and advising after students are admitted. I hope this information has been helpful. If questions arise about the application itself or you experience any technical difficulties, please email the UC Applications Center at the email provided.
Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do then, because I'm trying to be mindful of time, I want everyone in the chat, you all should have a link to the UC application. So make sure that you go ahead and start creating an account. So as the presentation said, what you're going to do is, let me go ahead and click on UC application. So you'll go ahead, it'll take you to that main page. And it's actually, since I did, there we go. You're going to go ahead and create an account. So for the email address, make sure you guys do not use your Oxnard Union email address. You want to make sure you're using your personal email address. And make sure it's appropriate too. Make sure that it's not, we've seen some interesting ones. I think Ms. Sanchez has shared she's gotten hotmama@gmail.com. And so you just want to avoid anything that could, that is not appropriate for school. So again, you're going to use your personal email address. If you don't have a personal email address, take the time to create one. Feel free to do that. But you're going to go ahead and put in your email address and your password. Okay, you're creating that password. You'll check it off, and then that will allow you to create the account. So everyone, go ahead and do that. Let us know if you guys have any questions, or if you have any concerns. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do is log into my personal UC application account. And so we'll walk you through the application. So you all saw an overview of what the application will look like and all the sections. Today, we're focusing on the About You section and also the campuses and majors, which don't feel pressured to know what campus you want to apply to or what major you want to study just yet. We still have time, but something to keep in mind. So in reality, our main focus is going to be that About You section. So once you create your account, let me see, when do you hope to start? University of California. Oh, this is, I probably need to update my account, I think. No. Okay, sorry, I probably put the wrong one. Oh, no, wrong one. So, okay. So remember, you're going to select that you are applying as a freshman. So once you get to that section, and we're working on fall quarter semester 2022. That's the academic year that you are applying to. So this is all the information that you're going to be putting in today. Again, we're focusing on creating that account. So as we continue to work through this, I'm going to play the video. I just want to make sure you guys, listen to the video. You all will have access to these videos as well. But as you're creating those Gmail accounts and you're creating your accounts, feel free to listen on to the video. And then I'll go step by step to make sure you guys are putting in the correct information. So if you ever feel stuck, let us know in the chat and we can put you in a breakout room with either myself, Ms. Castellanos, or Mr. Tirado, okay? So again, we're gonna go ahead and listen on, or you can follow along by viewing the video of the About You section. And hopefully there isn't, of course,
my job is to make college easier because students...
The Wi-Fi very slow.
Have a lot. Sorry, Coach.
Hello and welcome to the UC Application Step-by-Step webinar series hosted by UC Santa Barbara. This workshop will detail how to work through the About You section of the UC application. The first section of the application is called About You because it's a mini biography. It's an opportunity for you to share background information about who you are and where you're from. It's important for us to understand the context of where you come from on a personal level. This section will ask you very specific questions in regards to your home life. Please be as detailed as possible and answer everything. We will first ask your legal name, which is the name that appears on official documents, and we'll also ask for a preferred name as well. If you have a preferred name that you go by and you include it in this section, we'll use it in most of our communications with you. We will also ask you things like, what language did you learn to speak first? If you've ever been part of the foster care system, and if you or anyone in your family has served in the military. We will also ask questions about your parents or legal guardians and their employment, as well as their level of education. The UC admissions selection is a holistic process, and we will never penalize students for information that is included in their application. We will also ask you about citizenship information. It is very important to fill this section out accurately. If you are an AB 540 eligible student, mark No Selection from the drop-down menu asking about your country of citizenship. We also have an alternate webinar on the UC application for undocumented students on our UC Santa Barbara admissions website to help guide you through the application. A frequently asked question that we get from students is regarding the Social Security number. A Social Security number can be added when a student has one. A student with a DACA Social Security number can add that, and a student with an ITIN can add that. An applicant that does not have any of these three numbers can select No. The About You section of your UC application will also inquire about the socioeconomic demographics of your family. The first question will ask who lives with you at your permanent home address. Answer these questions to the best of your ability. There is no right or wrong answer, and we understand if you do not have an answer. For example, if you are in the foster system, you can select Other if that feels right to you. The second question will ask the total income supporting a family. If you are not sure how to answer this question, please ask your parents or guardians for help. The third question is clarifying how many people are supported by the family income, including yourself. Sometimes, applicants are nervous about putting their family's income in the application. Remember, nothing you share on the UC application can harm you. Further, sharing the size of the family income and the number of people supported on that income are required answers if you are seeking to be eligible for the UC application fee waiver. This fee waiver can void the cost of applying to up to 4 UC campuses. If you qualify, the waiver will automatically be applied to your application and will be shown in the next section, campuses and majors. If you leave income and family size blank, you will automatically not qualify for the fee waiver. Overall, the About You section provides information that creates context for you. It helps the application reader better understand your unique environment and the community in which you live. I hope this information has been helpful. If questions arise about the application itself or you experience any technical difficulties, please email the UC Application Center at the email provided. If you have any questions,
Okay, we'll go ahead and pause it. And feel free to reach out to these numbers specifically if you are planning to apply to UCSB. Other than that, other organizations might have a different email or reach out to your college site coordinators. So go ahead and let me know in the chat simply by typing in number 1. Just let us know if you are already filling out your personal information, meaning you have already created your account. So just type in a little number 1 on the chat so that we know where you're at. Okay, good. So it's fairly simple. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is walk through the application. Again, feel free to ask us questions if there is any specific question. I'm sharing my screen right now, so if you want, direct your questions to Mr. Tirado or Ms. Castellanos. And I'm seeing some people need the link again, so let me make sure and I add that link to the UC application again for those of you who are a little bit behind. So we'll go ahead and do that. Everyone in meeting. See, keep in mind you are applying for the application fall 2022. Oh, wait. Mr. Tirado and Ms. Castellanos, can you guys confirm that?
Sorry, I think my brain is all just jumbled up.
Fall 2022, because that's when they will be going to school. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You know, I'm traveling. For some reason, I thought we were in fall 2022, and I just started questioning myself. Okay, no. It's 2021, and you all will be attending fall 2022. So, yes, that is correct. Again, the About You section, as we saw on that video, and again, you all have access to these videos. We'll make sure to share them with you all. You're going to go ahead and type in your first name, last name, if you have a suffix, preferred first name, if you have a preferred first name other than that legal name, you want to make sure and add that. And as the video mentioned, they may refer to you as your preferred name, right, on most of those communications. If you have had a different legal name, it's going to be a yes or no. If you select yes, then obviously, you know, you'll put that previous or that different legal name. I'll ask where were you born. Go ahead and add that information. If you're born in another country, then you'll go ahead and add that as well. Continue working. Well, that's not the zip code. So you want to write your address. And again, this is your home address. So this is the address of where you live. Towards the bottom, it will ask for a mailing address. So let's say you receive your mail at a different address or a P.O. box. That's where you will put if you have a different mailing address. I know this sometimes confuses students. They're like, wait, what's an address and what's a mailing address? And it's honestly, if you receive your mail in your home address, and that is, you don't need to have your mail sent anywhere else. So 90. Okay, so I typed in my address, my city, and then my zip code. This is where I receive mail, so yes, we need a phone number in case we have questions about your application. Okay, if you have an international number or whatever it may be. Alright, cell phone. So if you want text messages or reminders, I would still recommend this, but especially in this age of technology, it'll be nice to get those reminders to make sure that you are working on your application. So if you're someone that needs that, feel free to opt in for that. So if you have an alternative phone number in case they can contact you, maybe you want to add a guardian or a parent number, then you can add that as well. If you don't want that, then you'll select no. Can we share your contact information with UC campuses and programs? If you check this option, you may receive information about admission tips, updates, reminders from UC campuses, even ones you haven't applied to, and outreach programs. They may contact you before and or after you submitted the application. So that's something you all can decide whether or not you want this information. I personally don't have a recommendation as to if you should or shouldn't. I don't know if Ms. Castellanos and Mr. Tirado have a different insight on this. What do you all think?
No, I mean, it is up to you guys. Sometimes it's beneficial to hear about other things that are going around, but, you know, some people don't like to get bombarded or confused with other bits of information. So it's really just, you know, up to the individual student.
Yeah, Ms. Castellanos, did you want to add something, or did you have any other recommendations just so students can have a different perspective?
Well, I personally would share my information just because I think a lot of these emails, even if you do get bombarded with emails, I think they contain very helpful information, especially if you're a first generation college student. So I personally would recommend for everyone, but I mean, it is a personal choice for every student.
Yeah, and absolutely, there's pros and cons, right? Maybe if you're undecided and you haven't explored all the UCs, you might want to check it off, right? But again, it is up to you, and you all have heard our perspective. So make your decision based on that. We'll go ahead and save and continue on the application. So they did emphasize this page right here. So what is your country of citizenship? For those of you that are undocumented AB 540 or DACA recipients, you want to go ahead and select no selection, right? Even if you hold citizenship in another country, you're just going to go ahead and select no selection. Again, it did say for those of you that have a social security number or a DACA number or an ITIN, you can go ahead and put that number here. Right, and an ITIN is a number that is designated to people who pay taxes. So maybe potentially you filed taxes because you worked last year, and again, that stands for Individual Taxpayer Identification Number. So it's your ITIN, and you can add that. If you don't have any of those, you should be able to leave it blank if it doesn't allow you to move forward. Historically, what students would put here in place of any of those numbers, it's all zeros, but I think they've updated the application so that if you leave it empty, it'll still allow you to move forward. So let us know if you're having troubles with that, if that's the case. Feel free to direct message us, and we can help you with that. Okay, the next question would be, by the time you attend UC, will you have graduated from a California high school? Yes or no? For all of you that are here, then most likely it will be yes. By the time you attended UC, will you have attended a California school for 3 or more years during grades K through 12? So even if there was a break between, maybe you were were here for 3rd grade, and then you and your family moved to another country, and you were living in that country, and then you came back, and you have been in school, that can total up to your 3 years. So keep that in mind, okay? So it just needs to be a total of 3 years. Also, these little blue icons with our additional information. You can click on them to get additional information, right? If you have questions about the application, and you'll see this on any application that you start working on, keep in mind these little icons here because they will provide additional information. And if you have a question about a particular section, then this can provide you additional information or also even answer some of your questions. Okay, about you, demographics. So this is questions about your ethnicity and ancestry. You'll answer, right, these questions. Do you consider yourself Hispanic or Latino? Yes or no. You can specify that as well, right? Which of the following groups best describes your racial background? And honestly, for these questions, go ahead and respond to these how what you feel would represent you. And if you have questions or you're unsure, then again, feel free to direct message us so that we can help you. So you go ahead and answer these questions. The questions about gender and sexual orientation, again, keep in mind, like the video mentioned, they can't make a decision based on this. Like, you're not going to be admitted or denied, but based on these answers, this really is to provide additional information and context. So if you have questions about any of this terminology, again, click on the icons. I know for some of you this may be new language and new terminology. Right, and so you'll go ahead and work through the application. You know, there's additional info right here. Forward. Oh, probably wants me to answer that. So I'll answer that later. Okay, skip the page for now. And so then it'll start asking about my language, right? So what language did you learn to speak first? Right, English only, another language. What was the other language, right? You can specify. So my first language was Spanish. Okay, please tell us more about yourself. Click all that applied to you. So you can select whichever applies to you. If none of the above apply, then none of the above apply. Are you dependent of a U.S. military veteran or service member? Yes or no. Save and continue. And then it's household information, so then it's going ahead and double checking my address, making sure that's correct. Who lives with you at your permanent address? So, you know, do it with one parent, two parents, and again, if you need additional definitions for the terms or what they're referring to by that, then you'll go ahead and add that information. For the income, some of you may have access to your parent or legal guardians right now, so you could potentially ask them that question. If not, then leave it blank, but make a note that you need to fill this out. Remember, this section is what is going to allow us to know whether or not we qualify for those fee waivers, okay? Make sure you fill that out, whatever applies to you. And again, for any of the questions about ethnicity, demographics, right, answer that question to whatever you feel like you relate to or identifies you, right? So hopefully that's a little bit clarifying a little bit. No one can tell you whether or not, you know, that's you if that's what you identify as. So just keep that in mind. Feel what, you know, answer it as whatever you think will best describe your identity. That's how I can say it. I don't know if Mr. Tirado or Ms. Castellanos for that specific question where it talks about our background, ethnicity, race. Because I know that's definitely a topic that can be a little bit tricky with the way we identify. So I don't know if you guys have something else to add to that.
No, just that there really is no wrong answer. You know, they're just trying to get some background information, just some context. And I think that this also can help them offer you different scholarships depending on what your answers are, depending on your financial information that you put in there. They can link you up to different scholarships that would apply to you, and that's also why they need that information. So, but yeah, it's really just up to you guys.
So there's a question about what's an international phone number. So that's like if your phone number is from another country, then you would put it's an international one. But if your phone is from here, you have a number that is from, the United States, then you can, it's not an international number. Good question. You'll go ahead and put in your parent information. And again, a lot of these are going to be populated based on the questions that you've answered previously. So if your screen doesn't look exactly like this, then, it's okay because it might vary slightly based on your previous answers. For your parents' job title, make sure that is an accurate representation of what your parents do. So for example, if your parents work in the fields, then you can put agricultural worker, just something that's really gonna truly showcase what your parents are doing. An example is, for example, growing up, this is so silly, but so my dad, he was an electrical engineer, or no, not even, no, he was not. I think that's what I thought he was. He was actually a maintenance engineer. So he worked in a hotel and he did maintenance, right? But his title was very fancy. So I'm like, I'm going to put that on my application because I'm going to sound fancier. But in reality, my dad was not getting an income of a traditional engineer. So when it comes to the job title, I think it is part of that providing context. So you want to make sure you get an accurate representation of your parents, what your parents dedicate themselves to, or what they're doing for a living, if that makes sense. So it's just going to help, again, provide that context. And not that I was ashamed of my dad being working in maintenance. I just thought I thought for some reason the colleges were going to think that I was more special because if I just said, he's an engineer, right? But that's really not the purpose of this section. Is to get context. Okay, what do your parents do for a living? What is their title? And how could that have potentially shaped your experience? Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. Give me a little number 1, or if there's thumbs up, or actually I can't even see you guys since I'm sharing my screen, but throw number 1 if that makes sense, right? When it comes to your parents' job title. If you need help with the job title where you're I know my parents do this, but I don't know what their official title is, or I don't think their title is really describing what they do, let us know and we can absolutely, let you know what potentially that can be titled if you don't have that official title of your parent. Okay, and then you want to select your parents' highest level of education. If your parent is, another one is if your parent is a stay-at-home parent, then you can put homemaker, or you can put stay-at-home parent, and then select the amount of years that they've been doing that. So parents' highest level of education, parents' contact information, just make sure you're adding this. Is the parent's address the same as your home address? So just in case you live in different homes, yes or no. Or if you put no, then it'll give you an option to add that information. And so I believe I put 2 parents for my in the previous question, so then I can add both parents. So for some of this, feel free to save and come back to it if you don't have the full information. And something that I want you all to know, so I know that we've broken up the application into these 3 workshops. Just know that by the end of the week, or at the end of these workshops, the application will not be complete, right? This is really so that you all can start getting your hands into the application and start working on it. It won't be officially complete until you get ready to submit. So you're going to see this, you're going to go through this information multiple times. You're going to double check it. You're going to come back to it. You're going to edit until it's, just right. Here the selection and once everyone gets to this point, put a number 2 in the chat, and that will let me know that we'll move on major. And so what we'll do once we get a lot of number 2s, which I see a lot of you all coming in. So what I'm going to display second video that goes over campuses and majors. I do not expect everyone today to already know what campus they're going to apply to or what major. If you know that, go ahead and add it to the application. But if you are still deciding that, number 1, make an appointment with us, right? In case you're having trouble and you need some direction, make sure you make an appointment with us so that we can direct you and give you some guidance and help you how to research and choose those potential campuses, okay? But you do not have to, like I said, you can always come back to the application. You can always add campuses, remove campuses. But really right now, the purpose is for you to get exposed to the application and get started on it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play that video. Again, let us know in the chat if you guys have any questions. And here goes nothing. Let's see, overview campuses and majors.
People with ADHD save 10 hours studying with this Chrome extension. But no, by all means, go ahead, skip the ad.
Hello and welcome to the UC Application Step-by-Step webinar series hosted by UC Santa Barbara. This workshop will detail how to select the UC campuses and your intended path for study at each UC. The campuses and majors section of the UC application will allow you to select any or all of the 9 undergraduate campuses to which you want to apply. This page is where you will find a fee waiver if you qualify. There is a $70 campus fee attached for each UC campus you select, or $80 for international students. You do not rank the campuses in order of your preference. Rather, copies are sent to each UC campus that the student has selected. Campuses do not collaborate on admissions decisions, meaning that you receive a separate and independent decision from each UC that you apply to. We also advise students against using any portion of the application to note a campus preference because that information will not be used in any way. Once you select your UC campuses, you will need to select your intended major within each campus. Majors may differ across the UCs. For example, UC Santa Barbara has aquatic biology, while other UCs may call it marine biology. You will also find majors unique to the UC campuses. For example, UC Santa Barbara is the only campus that offers a major in zoology. You will see up to 2 columns available on the right, listed as major and alternate major. The left column of major is your first choice of study, while the alternate major is your second choice. All campuses will allow you to select these 2 options with the exception of UC Berkeley. When you're looking at the majors, you'll be able to browse them by college or by category, but the default will be to show you them by college. If you are viewing the majors by category, please note that some majors will be listed in multiple categories. Freshman applicants. If you are not sure what you want to study, undeclared is an option at all UCs. Just note that if you choose the undeclared option, it may be difficult to switch into specific majors later on. For example, UC Santa Barbara's College of Engineering. Feel free to check with each UC campus if you have questions about applying undeclared. Transfer applicants must select a major. Undeclared is not an option. When it comes to selection for major or impacted or competitive majors, that's going to differ for every UC campus. So it's important to do your research before starting the UC application. Get to know your admissions counselors at the different UC campuses so that you know what your major means for selection at each of the campuses you are applying to. Some programs that you select in the application may require a supplemental application or additional information past the UC application itself in order to be considered for that major. If you select a program that has a supplemental application required, A gray box will appear below your major with specific instructions about the supplemental application. As the applicant, it is your responsibility to follow through and complete these supplements, as you will likely be denied from that major automatically if your supplemental application is not completed. The supplemental guidelines will vary by program as well as by campus, so please visit the websites provided for you in the application. All majors from all campuses can be found on the UC Office of the President website at either of these two links. As a reminder, students do not indicate an interest in double majoring or minoring in the UC application. That process will happen after enrollment. I hope this information has been helpful. If questions arise about the application itself or you experience any technical difficulties, please email the UC Applications Center. If you have any questions about UC Santa Barbara, please feel free to email UCSB for me at sa.ucsb.edu. We are...
Okay. Alright, so let's exit this real quickly. So let me know, do you guys have any questions so far?
Happy to help applicants.
Stop. Do you guys have any questions so far on the application? Okay, good. So it looked like we were all done with this information, so then you can go ahead and continue to campuses and majors. You'll read the UC values, the community principles, and you'll go ahead and acknowledge. Save and continue. And so this is where you want to make sure that you select your application level is freshman. I'm currently in high school, or I've graduated from high school but have not enrolled in a regular session at a college or university. So save and continue. So right here, so if you qualify for a fee waiver, this will be where it shows that. So if you are qualifying for those fee waivers, and again, you'll get this message once you put in that family size and income. That's what triggers it. So if you left it blank, remember, you won't know that. But you go ahead and select your campuses, and then you'll be able to choose your major, right? And so this is going to be where we pause today, right? So again, we're taking it nice and slow, easy. Goal for today is for you to get through the About You section, which we've completed, and then campuses and majors. Tomorrow, what we'll work on is academic history, right? So that's where we'll start to put in our classes. And potentially, because we do work with the district has a transcript evaluation service from the University of California, it may be a faster process where we won't have to individually type in classes, but we'll definitely walk you through that tomorrow. Okay, so as of right now, take the time to look at the schools. If you haven't done any college research, go ahead and use the time to do that. Use this time to do that right now. Right? We have about 10 minutes, so we will stay here up until 6 p.m. Available to all of you. So if you have any questions, please ask us. You can direct message either myself, Ms. Castellanos, or Mr. Tirado. And what I'll go ahead and make sure we do right now is that I include the links to the specific videos we saw on the chat. And we'll put the links on the chat. And then let us know again if you guys have any questions at all.